Hello, paddlers and rat fans. I don't mean me, I mean the boat. If you watched my last video, first of all, thank you. But right at the end of it, I showed you problems. I got a puncture or something. I thought it. Watch the video. Right, the thing is, I thought I'd do an update. Well, I said at the end of that video, I said I'd do an update. And it's turned out to be a nightmare. I mean, usually if you've got a puncture or something, you find the hole, you glue the hole, you seal the hole, and you're back doing whatever it is you're doing. Right, well, no, not this time, not for me. Well, I did what you meant to do. The first thing I did was get the boat out when I got home, well, a couple of days later actually. Blew it up because it seemed to be losing air pressure just in the hole. Well, it was losing air pressure just in the hole, the bottom. So, turned it upside down thinking there was a puncture underneath somewhere. And I covered it in soapy water. Right, well, as you can see there, yeah, covered it in soapy water, looking all over the place for no bubbles, no air escaping. Everything looked really, really good. Then I noticed right in the corner, I'll put a picture up, right, well, it's in four sides actually, but it was at the back where the three pieces of material joined together. I'll put a photograph up while I'm telling you now. Hopefully you can see that. Where the three pieces of material joined together, it seemed to come loose and there was bubbling, so I know there was air coming out of there. And it's right behind where the valve is. Now what I did was, I sealed them three pieces of material together. I put a patch on. Not a super neat patch, but it's a strong, well done patch. It's well glued on. I'll put you another picture up. Well, as you can see there, I put like a round patch over where the three pieces of material crossed themselves, because that's where the air seemed to be escaping. Right then, I blew the boat back up. A couple of days later, I give it 2 days for the glue to dry, even though the glue dries within about 20 minutes, solid dry within 24 hours, but I give it 2 days. I wanted to make sure that glue was dry. And it seemed to have done the trick. However, the hull still went down. So I checked everything and anything. And you see, when I had the boat out the first time and I found this little sort of like where the material had unsealed, I thought that's it. And it didn't cross my mind to check if there was something else. I mean, what are the odds of getting two punctures or something? So I thought to myself, it's probably the valve. So I ripped out the valve. Once again, I'll put a picture up, and I had a good examination of the valve and everything, and it seemed perfect. It seemed like there was no problems at all with the valve. So how I tested the valve was, I removed the valve from the front of the boat, swapped them round, blew up the front of the boat, and it stayed up. So the valve wasn't leaking. You know what I mean? So then I swapped them back again just to keep everything in the right place. And I got the boat back outside and I did the old soapy water test again, but this time on the inside, thinking, have I somehow punctured the inside of the boat? Which I don't see how I could possibly have done. Maybe climbing in, climbing out, sharp stone, but it'd be obvious because it'd be right there. I did the soapy water test on the inside of the boat, nothing. No bubbles, no nothing. So all I can assume at this point was the original seal, the stitching, somehow the air was getting from somewhere else. So I did the old soapy water test again, right, with the boat upside down, and I covered it, and I looked all down the sides, and I couldn't really find the problem. I could only find the original problem. So all I could think was maybe when I've sealed it, I haven't sealed it enough, and there's not enough air coming out at once to cause a bubble. I know that makes no sense, but at this point I was scratching the old noggin and just trying to imagine what could be wrong. So, and this, Patrick from Air on the Water, this didn't even cross my mind. My boat's still under warranty. I only picked it up last July, right? And you get 12-month warranty. And he says, why don't you contact Decathlon? You know what I mean? He said they've got a Facebook group and stuff. And something I didn't think about. It's a case of, well, you got a puncture, you fix it yourself. So after all that messing about anyhow, I decided, I sent Decathlon, the head office type thing, an email off. Right? I thought rather than going on Facebook and back, I thought I'd rather do it as an email. So I sent them an email off, and I heard back from them straight away via email, right, within a few hours or so. Sorry to hear about this, blah, 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 blah. We'll talk to one of our professional guys type things, and we'll see what they think and all like that. And I think it was the second day later, I got a phone call round about 3 p.m. and it was a bloke called Sam from Decathlon. Said, hey, we're really sorry about this, George. He wanted to discuss it. Where do I think the leak is? How have I thinking? You see, I sent him photographs of where the seams had seemed to come loose, and I sent him photographs of my repair type thing. So I'd kind of covered it, but he wanted to discuss it, and he said, look, how it works is with Decathlon, they have got stores all over the place. I mean, they've got the head offices, I believe in, I don't want to say it in case I get the wrong city, but the head office is in Europe. There you go, I covered myself. Head office is in Europe, but they've got major establishments and they sell their gear all over the place. And he asked me, well, actually, I'll rephrase from that. He says, I can tell by your address you live nowhere near one of our outlets, which I don't, nowhere near. And because of my circumstances at the moment, it would be a long time before I'd be able to get my boat to one of their outlets. That's why at the moment I'm not travelling far to get to rivers and stuff, but that's another story. It's a personal matter. But yeah, and he even said, he says, you don't live anywhere near, you're sort of like way, way away from the nearest outlet. So he says, we're going to try, because what you do is you take your boat in and you have like a, for want of a better word, a card. It can be on your phone, you don't have to print it off as a card, and they scan a barcode and they see when you bought it and all like that, and they know you're covered in it. It's like your warranty. And you just take your boat into any store, they scan your warranty, yeah, you're covered, we'll fix it for you, come back whenever, you know what I mean? But because I couldn't do that, and Sam realised straight away, great guy, Sam realised straight away, look, that's going to be practically impossible for you, George. So he says to me, he says, I'll try and arrange a courier to pick up and bring it back for you, you know what I mean? And I says to him at this point, I says, I don't know if I should say this, right, but I'll be honest with you. Right, if you can't, or if somehow the cost you, I'll pay for the shipping. I want to get it repaired. But he says, no, we'll see what we can sort out first before we go down that route. Well, he rang me back a couple of days later because he said, I can't ring you back tomorrow because it's my day off. So he rang us back a couple of days later, which, once again, quick. He said he was going to ring me, he rang me. You know, like some places say, oh, we'll ring you on the Friday, and they don't ring you until the following Tuesday, and that gets annoying with whatever company it is. But he rang me back on the day, he said he was going to ring me back, which once again, brilliant. And he said, right, we've arranged a courier for you. Right, what day is good for you? And straight away I said, any day, any day. I was full of thanks, obviously, so what happened was I'd got an email. He said, we'll sort it out then. Right. And then the next day I got an email off him, right, saying we'll arrange a courier, right? Panther Logistics. Now, if you look them up, right, they get it right. Panther Logistics. I can't remember, but it's Panther Logistics because there's a couple of courier companies called Panther. One of them had a terrible rating, practically 1 star, or never turned up, never this and that. And as I looked, I thought, oh God, no. But then I saw this Logistics, right, the actual one that's coming, and they've got a fantastic rating, excellent customer service, excellent this. People that came to collect were brilliant, and that's the one they've used. You get me? So if you do look up this Panther courier place, make sure you get the right one, because one's got a terrible reputation, and this one that Decathlon's used has got a fantastic reputation. So that's just a caveat. But yeah, so I got an email saying this Panther Logistics is going to pick your boat up on the Monday, and what'll happen is when we get it, because they're taking it to one of the big places in, I nearly said Stockholm then, Stockport, which is way away from me, way down south. But yeah, so they're taking it to Stockport, and what they're going to do is have a look at it, then get back to me, he said. Right, I know, different clothes on, something went wrong. The battery run out, right, so it's a couple of days later basically, right, but I'll continue the story exactly where I left off so it don't get confusing, but I just thought I'd mention that real quick. You just spotted it and wondered what the hell is going on. Right, so they said they'll pick it up. Oh, I should say they picked it up on the Monday, right, and they said, when we know, we'll let you know, basically. Well, it was about a week later, and the bottom line is, I'm not useless. I was thinking, because of all the times I was looking for bubbles and checking for leaks and trying to fix this and trying to fix that, I was thinking I must be bloody useless. Why can't I find the problem? Because as you know, as I've said, I checked everything. Well, it's unrepairable. Something major's happened, right? And I'm afraid the river rat is no more. It's not coming back to me. They can't repair it. Right? They didn't go into details in the email. Right? I'm going to get back in touch with them because I'm curious. They basically said it's unrepairable. Right, but what they're doing is they're sending me out a brand new one. There you go, a brand new one. Right, so I will be back on the water again. Right, so it'll be the River Rat part. Well, not part 2, number 2. But yeah, so the River Rat is no more, I'm afraid. And you've seen, if you're a subscriber, you'd have seen at the front of the boat, I actually wrote on it the River Rat, which was. It was nerve-wracking because it's permanent marker, waterproof. It's not as if you can just rub it out if you make a mistake, so I was really concentrating. But the main thing was on the back when I drew the picture of a rat, right, in permanent marker again and everything. And you really don't want to make a mistake with a picture, right? But yes, I'm going to have to go through all that again. Maybe I might come up with something else, I don't know. But no, so unfortunately, yeah, my kayak, whatever was wrong with it, was unrepairable. So I spent a long hours and hours, because not just all at once. I mean, this was over days and days and days trying to figure out what the hell was wrong with it. So it's more than just that something major's gone wrong. Maybe something. I mean, I have never heard of a problem with this kayak before. People get punctures, you know what I mean? That happens with an inflatable. But I've never heard of a problem where it's unrepairable. But like I said, and I'll state this again, Decathlon, I bought this kayak back in, I think it was late, I said July, but I think it was late June. Can't remember now. I made a video about it actually when I did the review, but whatever. I'll have to check for myself sometime June, July. And no ifs, no buts, no what do you want to do, you make this, you make... They just said, we're going to send you a brand new one out, George. Yeah, so that's the bottom line. After all that hard work I did trying to figure out whatever the problem actually is, which I will find out. I'm hoping when they send me the new one, there's some sort of letter or information saying because of this or that. And if not, I will send them off another email once I get my new kayak and say, if you don't mind, can you just tell me what exactly was the problem with my old one? You know what I mean? Because it would be interesting to find out. Because, as I said, I've never heard of anybody having a problem with this particular kayak. Apart from puncture, as I mentioned. But so unfortunately, the river rat has died. She be no more. She be gone. Let's have a moment's silence. That's enough. Yes, it's weird. You would think, I mean, I'm getting an identical replacement, right? But I sort of like got used to it. You know, I made it my own. You get me? I made it my own. Apart from putting the names on it and stuff, I put some D-rings on and stuff. But I just... It's a weird thing. I'm getting an identical replacement, so you think, so what? But in the back of my head, I know it's not the same boat that I've done this on, and I've been out there on, and I've done that, and I've done, yeah. So it's just one of them weird things. Right? No, I'm not going to start crying. Oh, I moved my butt. I'm not that bad. But it's just in the back of your head, you're thinking, oh, that's a shame. But as I said, I'm getting an identical replacement. So I can't tell you when, you tell me. And that's the story then, there you go. So that's the story of what happened to my kayak. Whatever the problem is, it's unrepairable, so it's more than just a puncture. It's more than just some 3 pieces of material joined together. It's somewhat major. Because if it was anything like that, surely you'd assume that they'd be able to unseal it and reseal it down again, you know what I mean, or put a giant patch across, you know what I mean, and then they'd say to the customer, I'm sorry if you don't like the patch, but that's the best we could do, you know what I mean. But yeah, so it's one of them things. Unless it's somewhere in the warranty, because who reads the warranty? I mean, the pages of the thing. You read a little bit, don't you, to see how long you're going to be covered for, and that's it. It could be in there somewhere that if we repair it, we have to repair it to a standard of how it looked before the damage or something like that, like a lot of companies do things like that. Yeah, so I do. Who sung that song? Shwaddy. Digress. But yeah, so there's the story then. So now I'm just waiting for my brand new kayak, and I just might put R.I.P. Yak 1 or something like that. Or Rat 1. R.I.P. Rat 1. Just on the back somewhere, small. So people are, what's that? Oh, that was say goodbye to the first one. Yeah, I might do that. I'm a bit strange like that, you see. Anyhow then, paddlers, that's the story. If you stuck around and watched all of it, thank you, because I know I went on, but I wanted to cover every little detail about what's gone on. Alright, so that's why it's been a longish video. So it's all been covered, and there you go then. I hope every question's been answered. If you do have any questions, don't bother leaving a comment, some sarcastic bugger, and say, so exactly what was wrong with it? I don't know. It's unrepairable. That's the only information I got. Unrepairable. We're sending you out a brand new one. But as I said, once I get it, if there's no information in there, I'll send them an email off and just ask them out of curiosity, because I would like to know, because obviously it's more than just a puncture if it's unrepairable. I'm guessing because it was the hull, the bottom, it might be something inside, underneath, right at the front somewhere, where you can't get at. You'd actually have to cut the boat open to get in there, so maybe that's why they can't get in. Somehow maybe the stitchings come loose, some I don't know, I'm just guessing now. Right, but it must be at somewhat where they can't get at. Hence the unrepairable bit. Anyhow, paddlers, now I'll definitely leave it there. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I won't do a video saying, hey, she's arrived and let's do an unboxing and stuff. I'm sure you're putting it there because you have done one of them with the original. Right, but as soon as I get it, I'll get it on the water, and that'll be my next video. Well, it won't be my next video, but it'll be the first time you see her on the water without all the writing on, without the names on and the pictures. Okay then, I'll catch you later. Hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching, and cheers.